and go. How did the human body evolve? Early humans. So a human is anyone who belongs to the genus Homo. Today we are Homo sapiens. Scientists still don't know exactly when or how the first humans evolved, but they did identify a few of the oldest. We do know that we all come from, or we all originate from East Africa. The earliest known humans are the Homo habilis, Homo rudolphinus, and the Homo erectus. Homo habilis were known as handymen, and they ranged from 1.4 million to 2.4 million years ago. They were from eastern and southern Africa. Homo rudolphinus ranged from 1.9 to 1.8 million years ago from eastern Africa. The name Homo rudolphinus actually comes from Kenya and East Rudolph. Homo erectus, they were known as upright men. They were from southern Africa, and they were from 1.89 million years to 110,000 years ago. So that was actually not that long ago if you think about it compared to, 1.4 million or 2.4 million years ago, such as the Homo habilis. The Homo erectus also, they were from southern Africa, but they also could have come from modern day China and Indonesia. Scientists found remains there also. Scientists discovered Neanderthals, actually mated Neanderthals and Denisovans. I can't quite pronounce it, but they actually mated with Homo sapiens or modern humans. And it wasn't discovered just to be such as a one-night stand, you could say. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It actually occurred multiple times. And it just kind of occurred. It became a thing. Neanderthals are actually our oldest prehistoric relative. Neanderthals are going to be right over here. Neanderthals were significantly smaller than Homo sapiens, so modern day humans. They actually had like a broader chest, more like a barrel chest. They had larger skulls and like bigger brains that scientists discovered. There are thousands of Neanderthal remains that were discovered actually. If we take a look and don't go too far into Neanderthals just yet and look at these pictures, in picture 1, this one's going to be a Homo habilis. You can see it right here. They do look more like a monkey or like a chimp or an ape. They have more of a monkey facial structure. They are still Homo, so they are still a type of human. If you look at figure 2, this is the oldest. Figure 1 is the oldest one, the Homo habilis. Figure 2 is a little bit closer to our time. I mean, it's still almost 2 million years ago, but not quite. Figure 2 is the Homo rudolphinus, and they still have the monkey kind of face shape with the nose. They still look more closer to monkeys than they do to Homo sapiens, but you can see that they evolved a little bit to look more human-like. Especially figure 3, the Homo erectus look very human-like. They still have a little bit of like the chimp look to them, but they are very close. And then the Neanderthals, our closest relative to the prehistoric times, look very similar to today. They look very similar to Homo sapiens, actually. Now, Homo sapiens and Neanderthals did have a couple like squirrels, like competitions to each other. They actually were almost a threat to Neanderthals. Neanderthals actually went extinct because of climate change, resources, threats, everything. Colder climates actually limited geographic range for Neanderthals, which limited their resources, all in all. And here you can see that this is just kind of the evolution. Homo sapiens, so if we're looking at from left to right, these are going to be the Australopithecus, Afarensis, afarensis. Yes, Australopithecus afarensis. Sorry, it's a little bit of a mouthful. These were actually the most bipedal, the first bipedal that we actually know of. They're also called the Sahelanthropus. Sahelanthropus. I'm sorry, it's really hard to pronounce. And then the Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and then the Homo sapiens. So this is going to be the modern day humans. You can just see the evolution of how they went from almost looking like a chimp, and they gradually actually got taller and ended up like this. Bipedalism. All right, so Sahelanthropus. The oldest evidence of walking on two legs comes from one of the earliest humans known as Sahelanthropus. Pros and cons of bipedalism could be seen as the pros being your hands are free, so it is making it easier to carry things along with you. It makes it easier to transport things from one area to another. It does advance in running, even though they weren't able to run that quickly. They were able to get away faster than they were on all fours. They weren't able to run that quickly because their feet still were adapted to climbing. Bipedalism, it kind of helped climbing just a little because they were trained to do more than one thing, so it evolved that too. Cons, the arthritis actually would have occurred too, or wear and tear on their hips and their knees and their feet. Because all their weight is on the bottom half of their body, and they're not used to that. They're used to it being on the top half of their body. Because of this wear and tear, it actually made complications with childbirth too for the women. If you're putting a lot of strain on your hips, they will tear, they will have arthritis, they will break down, which putting more pressure on your pelvis for women, it's if they're used to being on all fours and then going and just putting all that pressure on their pelvis where they push their kids out of, it's just causes so many complications. It'll deform the pelvis. It was a lot worse for women than it was for men because men didn't have the burden of childbirth or the pleasure of childbirth, whatever you would like to say. They didn't have to have kids, but the women did. So it was a lot more difficult for them. Carrying may have been an important factor in the evolution of bipedalism, just because it, like I said before, it was a lot easier for them to transport things from one area to another. So like the key to the past is looking through present's eye. What that means is that the best way to understand things like bipedalism is to compare early evidence and early evidence of bipedalism to modern day human Homo sapien and ape walking. And here you can just see that the pelvis is a lot shorter, is a lot more winged out from the Homo sapien than it is from the gorilla who is on all fours. The gorilla has a lot wider and a lot more square shaped of a pelvis, while the woman has a lot smaller, more oval. The chimpanzee is just showing their feet, how it is more adapted to climbing rather than the human foot. This is a lot how, like, the Homo habilis and the Homo rudolphus and the Homo erectus is a lot of how their feet would have looked rather than modern day feet. This is more adapted for them climbing, so with them becoming bipedal and walking on them more, it allowed them to evolve from this made for climbing to the feet made for walking. And that is how the human body evolved to get to where it is today, through climate change, survival of the fittest. It evolved. Humans adapt. That is in our nature, to adapt. And these are my citations. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. If you have any remarks, just leave a comment. And yeah.